From behind the invisible walls of Dogville, it's the IGN Digigods. So please welcome two men who routinely mess with the Zohan, Wade Major and Mark Kaiser.
Yeah, Dogville, which we just mocked on Stupid for Movies. Say, Bob, who turned that one in this week?
Lance Horatio Taylor. Thank you.
Horatio.
LT.
LT, like Lawrence Taylor.
I wish my name was Horatio.
Yeah, I don't think Horatio is his real middle name. That's a Bobism. So, yes, it's Wade Major and Mark Kaiser back with you once again. We are the Digigods, for those who might be tuning in for the first time. And I know we've got a fair number of new subscribers. We do both this podcast every week, and we also do Stupid for Movies, a web TV show at stupidformovies.com. You can tune in every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Pacific time. That's Los Angeles Pacific time, as opposed to... Mark just sneezed. That's how professional we are.
I really did just sneeze.
He sneezed into his arm.
I thought maybe I can sneeze in a way that wouldn't interrupt but you know what? You're sneezing.
You're sneezing.
There's no way to sneeze.
But don't
quietly.
It looked like you're doing flatulent sounds off of your arm while sneezing.
You know what? I can do that too if you like.
Please don't. Anyway, we do Stupid for Movies Thursday evenings Pacific time. That's Los Angeles Pacific time, not Tokyo Pacific time. Sometimes there's confusion over that. But we are going to talk about some anime today, by the way. What are you looking at?
I'm just seeing what's going on.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Oh, that's not the queen that I want.
I know.
Oh, God, wait. Later we'll be talking about the queen, but not the one you'd ever want to see.
Yeah, not the band, and not the film with
Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren,
which I just saw the other day in Red.
Yeah,
Bruce Willis, Helen Mirren, Morgan Freeman.
They're marketing that thing exclusively on the thrill that you allegedly get from watching Helen Mirren uncork a machine gun.
That's what I said in the review. I'm like, I reviewed it for Box Office Magazine. Yeah. I'm like, look. It's sort of sweet that we can actually think it's cool that a 65-year-old woman is firing a machine gun.
Yeah.
I get that. I mean, I kind of like it. I like the fact that we would assign cuteness to that.
Yeah.
But the movie is completely pedestrian.
Yeah.
And you know what? Frankly, and I'm in the minority on this. I'm going to ruin the film's 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes when you see my review.
Go for it.
You know, the thing is that if you change about 10 pages of the script, it can be written for anybody. Young kids get together, convicts get together. I mean, really, there's not a whole lot that's particularly age-oriented. You know, there's some, but not nearly enough.
Anyway, fans can find us on Facebook. They can go to digigods.com, they can go to stupidformovies.com, and they can go to our Facebook pages for Stupid for Movies or Digigods. Lots of fun stuff going on there for both of them, but we also have some listener mail this week, Mark.
What?
Yes, we do. Kevin Kane says... You guys talk about Ken Russell a lot, and I'm just wondering if you've heard anything about Warner Brothers finally releasing The Devils on DVD. It's one of my favorite films, and it really blows to have to watch a bootleg on an HD screen. Not a perfect combo at all. Thanks, Kevin Kane.
Well, here's the thing. You know, The Devils is quite the controversial
hugely
film.
Controversial, yeah.
You know, I'm not even sure if domestically it's even... Well, actually, recently there was a screening of The Devils in Santa Monica. But was that the... European release that never came to the States?
Correct.
It was.
It was.
You see, I missed that.
Yeah. Well, that was also when we were supposed to be interviewing Ken Russell for Stupid for Movies, and he blew us off and went psycho on the phone when Corey tried calling him, and it just that was the fiasco that we described on Stupid for Movies, where we actually went there with a camera crew in the lobby of his hotel. He wouldn't come down.
No.
It was actually kind of funny.
And he was in Santa Monica because at the Aero Theater in Santa Monica, they were projecting The Devils.
The long story short there, The Devils, it should be out. The thing is, a lot of that really obscure stuff, Warner Brothers has just decided, you know what, we're not going to even test the waters with this stuff. Then what they'll probably do is, and I emailed Kevin this as well, they'll probably make it part of the Warner Archive deal. So it'll be a as you buy it, they will have their little factory machine, their little robot burn a custom DVD-R just for you and ship it to you. But they're not going to probably manufacture that in mass, in bulk, and pray to God that 5,000 people out there might actually want to buy it. It's not worth it for them.
It's kind of a shame because the movie is quite notorious.
It is,
and it's got a great backstory to it, including censorship, and it's got a great story.
The only other way that I could see them actually releasing it is they've done a couple of these series, these controversial film series, where they poll people on the films the scandalous films that they want to see released. And the films that have won that poll a couple of years wind up getting this special batch release, like the second series of, Too Hot to Handle or whatever it is. And I don't see The Devils winding up on that list because it's simply not famous enough. It's known to cinephiles and film buffs, but I just don't see a huge market for that film in any form. But it'll eventually wind up in the Warner Archive. Download, rent, burn, whatever.
Exactly.
You have 3 options there. It's like you can stream it, you can get it, whatever it is. Anyway, we also have another email from Paul Higginbotham, who says, "Hello, Wade and Mark. Your show is an oasis in a desert of crappy podcasts about films. Isn't that sweet?
Yay.
You're our favorite fan this week. I listen to it every week and quite often discover movies I'd never heard of before to add to my Netflix queue. I especially enjoyed Wade's rant on a recent show decrying the special editions of the Star Wars films and Lucas's refusal to give us good copies of the originals. I recently acquired, through perfectly legal means of course, an anamorphic copy of the 1977 theatrical release of Star Wars, and watching it brought tears of joy to my eyes. Not only is it a great piece of film history, but it is simply a better film than the special edition. I love that you often compare DVD to Blue editions and advise whether or not the Blue is a worthy upgrade. If you both had to name 2 classic movies that are must upgrades from DVD to Blue, what would they be? Also, what is the most disappointing Blu-ray you've encountered? Thanks. Keep up the great work, Paul in West Virginia." You got any must upgrades from DVD to Blue?
Well, I would definitely say Blade Runner.
I agree completely. Absolutely.
I would definitely say Blade Runner.
Yeah, you got to get Blade Runner.
And, I'm really curious to see the Alien films on Blu-ray. I mean, obviously I haven't
but those
seen
aren't
it,
out yet.
so I don't know. But those are not out yet. But I would definitely say, and also, you know what? Thin Red Line.
That was going to be my other one. So I think we're unanimous there. Yeah, I'm going to say Blade Runner and Thin Red Line for sure.
Now, when it comes to movies, when it comes to bad Blu-rays, the problem is...
gosh, there's so many.
There's so many because now the studios are just cranking out Blu-rays as a matter of course. They're really going back to their catalog titles that they don't really want to do much upgrade for or add high-def extras for.
True.
And they just put them out. So at this point, there's plenty. I mean, look, if I have to name one, just because he's asking, I will say Escape from New York.
Ooh, really?
Now, the Escape from New York Blu-ray, I was very disappointed in. The picture is a mild upgrade, not that great. All the extras that was on that terrific special edition DVD, not on the Blu-ray. So I would say that, and plus the movie's a terrific.
You know what I'm going to pick? I'm going to pick. Honestly, that's the whole Studio Canal series that is steadily being released through Lionsgate.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
It is just such a disappointment. Third Man is getting ripped, and Delicatessen Ain't So Hot. We talked about that last week.
That's a good one.
As part of that, I'm going to say Ron. The Ron Blu-ray is really disappointing, and the thing that's so sad is that Ron has been out like 3 times on DVD, and the Blu-ray you would think, right, that's the one that should be great, right? No, it's not. The Criterion Collection edition on just regular DVD from 2005 actually looks better.
Is that right?
Yeah, and it's so disappointing, and the movie is so incredible it demands a great Blu-ray. So I really wish that, Studio Canal they're really cheesing out on this. They should properly remaster all those films. They're just not spending the money.
I cannot agree more. They are really getting ripped. And you know what? And since we're on the subject, now we're getting all riled up before we talk about new films and some TV, is the Blu-ray of Patton. The Blu-ray was really controversial because there was so much digital noise reduction applied to that Blu-ray that, the picture was strikingly clear. I mean, it was spotlessly clean. The problem is that the film was not shot that way. Mm-hmm. So even though it looked amazing, that was not Franklin Schaffner's vision for the film. So it took a lot of crap.
Yeah, very true.
And then after that, they made the sequel, Patton 2, The Revenge.
Oh, yeah. I like
The Revenge of Rommel. Rommel's Revenge.
and then after that, of course, Patton 3D.
And then there was also a Patton 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
That was my favorite.
Beautiful.
All right, wait, seriously.
Well, we should get into some DVDs.
Don't. Come on. You're not going to start with that.
Why not?
Every week I complain about the crap you start with.
Oh,
all right, wait, you know what? Okay, I want you to start with that DVD just so I can be proven right.
No,
Go.
okay.
No. Talk about Lost Kingdoms of Africa
I'm
to
not,
start the show.
No, that's it. Fine, I'm not going to. No, let's start with sports. Go ahead, sports. Bears defeat Packers.
At least
Let's do it.
that's something.
It's football season. Gridiron.
You know what? Can I say something about football season?
Yeah, you
not
don't
there
care.
yet.
Yeah.
It'll take about the third round of the playoffs.
You know how long it always takes me? It usually takes me Thanksgiving Day. It does, really. Thanksgiving Day, because there's really nothing else to do other than watch Twilight Zone episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bet. So, Wade, we have a Bears defeat Packers. Now, these are 3 complete games, one from 99, one from 2006, one from 2008, and it's all about the Bears defeating the Packers. Now, obviously, I'm not seeing a whole lot of Packers fans buying this DVD.
No.
But if you're a Bears fan...
There's another one, which is Packers defeat Bears, but they didn't send us that one.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
They usually come out in little twofers,
Interesting.
Yeah, but we didn't get the other one.
For this one, the one from 2006 contains Brett Favre's very first shutout. He was shut out 26-0.
Oh my gosh.
On opening day at Lambeau Field. So there is some good gloating to be had if you're a Chicago fan.
These are 2 of the original football. Like, people who are real purists about the NFL, as far as they're concerned, the only teams that really should still be in the NFL are the Bears, the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, and that's it.
And the Oakland Raiders.
Just all those cold weather, Midwest teams. That's, real hardcore people, because those are like the original football teams. But, these guys, I'm a fan, but I'd like to see some games from the old days, like in the 1940s.
Those are cool.
Those are cool.
Because they didn't wear all the pads that they wear now.
No, that was brutal back then.
Now, of course, we didn't have like the hulking 275-pound lineman just plowing into the quarterback and sending him to the hospital.
True, but no steroids. I mean, it was a real game back then. I'd love to see some of that vintage stuff released.
Well, it's the same when you look at basketball and baseball from the 70s.
True.
Because back then those guys were really thin, spindly types. Nowadays, you bulk up. They never used to bulk. I'm not even talking steroids. They just didn't bulk up back in those days.
Same thing with soccer players. You soccer players from the 1970s, big legs, skinny torsos, smoking on the sidelines. It's the way. That's how it was.
All right, I hate soccer, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of sports, I hate Stanley Cup 2010, roaring to the cup. This is the story of the Blackhawks winning the 2010 Stanley Cup. Bonus features include some crap I don't care about. Okay, move on. I just don't like it.
It's for Chicago people. They're going to elect Rahm Emanuel, aren't they?
They're going to what?
They're going to elect Rahm Emanuel mayor, aren't they?
You know what? I think that the bloom is off the Obama rose, so that might hurt him, but it's possible.
All right.
Obviously, there's nothing cleaner than Chicago politics. So anything
that's true. There you go.
All right, so now we have WW. Now, this is the World Wrestling Entertainment presents Breaking the Code Behind the Walls of Chris Jericho. See Jericho Wall.
This is, what there are what is the big deal with Chris Jericho? This guy, he's like the golden boy of WWF, and I don't ever really keep up with it. But
wait a year, there'll be another golden boy.
But there's like 100 DVDs on Chris Jericho.
It was Steve Austin, and then it was The Rock, and now it's Chris Jericho, and you know what? I guarantee in about 18 months, you'll see the first Chris Jericho straight-to-DVD action film where he has to save his wife from Mexican drug lords.
This guy's been around for like 20 years.
Yeah, whatever.
He's been around, for forever. It's just all these different leagues, and I just don't... well, anyway. Here's what makes this really special. When he fought against Cactus Jack.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that amazing?
Kidding? I stayed home from school when that happened.
And a Japanese match against Ultimo Dragon. Huh?
Yes, God help us all.
Yeah, there you go. That's why this is special.
Now it's a 3 DVD set. It's got the fold-out digipack type packaging.
Yeah, which I don't like.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But if you like this guy, look, when he shows up in movies, get back to me.
He's not. I'm telling you, showing up in straight-to-DVD crap.
Probably.
And by the way, can I say that as much as I don't like wrestling, and when these wrestling guys do movies, it's just lame. But I think The Rock is really the coolest guy ever.
No, he is.
He is cool.
Yeah.
I think he's totally charming. I think he's totally cool.
Yeah, I agree.
And he was in You Again, and he had a cameo in You Again.
Yeah.
A terrible film. But I'm totally on board with The Rock. I admit it.
Yep.
Everyone else is stupid. SummerSlam 2010. This is another World Wrestling Federation thing that I'll never buy or watch. And it's about a guy. Who cares? Come on.
Speaking of, what's her face that stands a very good chance of becoming U.S. Senator.
Who?
The lady who runs this whole thing. What's his face's wife.
Oh, McMahon's.
That Lady McMahon lady.
Interesting.
Yeah, would that be hilarious?
You know what? If we can
look, if Italy can elect a porn star, which happened when I lived in France, I remember that. It was like Italian men were dancing in the streets.
Yeah.
It was hysterical. It was really weird.
In an era, and now we're getting political, but let's just say, in an era when everybody tries to score political points because in 1973 some congressman once wore a tie that didn't match his shirt, and people score points on the most ridiculous things that really don't matter. That's how toxic our environment has become.
Yep.
I literally will look. If a little bird came down on high and said, "If you vote for this homeless crack addicted prostitute, she will ensure world peace and the end of cancer and AIDS," I would vote for a homeless crack addicted prostitute. I couldn't care less. I could not care less.
I agree.
Meg Whitman, she hired an illegal. I don't care. I don't care. You know what? I'll vote for the illegal alien. If the illegal alien is going to bring peace in the Middle East,
then I'm going to vote for you.
You know what? I would vote for that illegal alien. I don't care.
Vote for you.
I'm that guy.
I'm going to blow through some martial arts stuff here because you know what? We haven't talked about it in a long time, and I love this stuff. So here we go. First off, this is all from Funimation. Now, Funimation normally is an anime company. We're going to talk about some of their stuff later as well. But the Shaw Brothers library has been split up between a number of different U.S. distributors. A lot of the stuff was released by the Weinsteins as part of the Dragon Dynasty series. A lot of it was being released through Image. Some of it is coming out now from Wellgo, who also releases a lot of interesting kind of cool little fringy culty titles. And Funimation is releasing a lot of stuff too. These are both Shaw Brothers films. Not huge classics, but certainly worth checking out. This one is from 1982, entitled Shaolin Prince. Bet you never thought that there'd be a Shaw Brothers movie with the word Shaolin in the title, did you? I
didn't think there'd be more than 1,000. Yeah, it turns out there is.
Yeah, quite a lot. T. Lung is in this. T. Lung, of course, a huge star for decades in Hong Kong films, mainly known for stuff like A Better Tomorrow, the John Woo film. This was actually written by Wong Jing, who is kind of like the enfant terrible of Hong Kong cinema. Wong Jing literally has written, directed, or produced something like 300 movies. Some of them are really good, like Jet Li movies. He's done several Jet Li movies that are actually quite fun. Jackie Chan's City Hunter is a lot of fun, but most of the time they're just really over the top and horrible. This is a little bit more mainstream. This shows you that Wong Jing actually is capable of doing regular work that doesn't involve all of his weird peccadillos if he wants to. And by the way, Wong Jing once was dating Ching Meow. Did you know that?
Meow.
So jealous. That pointy little triangular chin of hers, just adorable. Anyway. That's why she always showed up in all of his movies. No, this is one of those kind of classic Shaolin films. It's a lot of different kung fu styles, a lot of fun stuff to enjoy. There's stuff in here that does not exist, like the 18 Buddha attack. No such thing, but who cares? It's a lot of fun. So any movie that has Shaolin in the title, you're in for a lot of fun styles, good swordplay, good fighting, and long eyebrows. The Duel is actually a surprisingly really good film from 1971, which is sort of the heyday of Shaw Brothers cinema. This was directed by the great Chang Che, who did The Five Venoms and many other fine films. It also stars T. Lung. And this is actually a pretty interesting story that I'm surprised hasn't been remade time and time again. This is about a guy who has to go on the lam after his adopted father is murdered, and he's the one that they blame for it. So he's got to kind of go underground and somehow find a way to clear his name, much in the way of The Fugitive, right? It's kind of a martial arts fugitive version. A lot of really interesting action here, really well staged, very well directed. Chang Che is an absolutely superlative stager of action. Anybody who's seen some of his really classic stuff from the 60s, this is not quite on par with that, but it's very close. And then a bunch of stuff that was not originally sent to us, but which I pursued vigorously, from the Dragon Dynasty series. Another Chang Che film, The Return of the Five Deadly Venoms, also known as Crippled Avengers. This is part of the Shaw Brothers library that was transferred over to the Weinstein brothers. And this thing is just an unbelievable amount of fun. This is absolutely terrific. You will love it top to bottom. Forget about plot, doesn't matter. It's basically about disabled or challenged, let's just say somewhat handicapped fighters who somehow have to find a way of capitalizing on whatever limitations they have and find their strengths. So whatever you can't do, then make sure you capitalize on whatever you can do. There's a lot of that in Hong Kong cinema. Blind guys and one-armed guys. It's really, really, really good. So that is The Return of the Five Deadly Venoms. Even better, here are some Blu-rays. The 36th Chamber of Shaolin. There's that Shaolin thing again, Mark. Gordon Liu, who kind of had an amazing comeback in the Kill Bill films, this was in his heyday. This is an absolutely brilliant movie. The only thing that I find a little bit peculiar here is listening to the audio commentaries. You know why?
Because it's in Chinese.
Feature commentary with the RZA of Wu-Tang Clan, right?
Right.
You know the RZA.
I've heard of him.
Did you ever see Coffee and Cigarettes?
Yeah. He was one of the guys who did
What's up, Bill Murray? What's up, Bill Murray? Called him Bill Murray the other day. Yeah. Feature commentary by the RZA and Andy Klein.
Wait, so is the RZA and Andy Klein in the same room?
Yeah, in the same room.
Really?
Yeah.
What did Andy say about the RZA?
He said it was hysterical. It felt weird, but they did eventually clicked. And what's funny about this, for those who don't know, Andy's a very, very good friend of ours. Andy and I have done a bunch of commentaries on a lot of martial arts stuff together. We did Master of the Flying Guillotine twice. And some other really, really fun films. So, yeah, but hearing Andy with someone else, I just feel like I feel like a jilted lover. It's a thing, But anyway, no, this is a terrific movie. Andy's commentary with the RZA is great. You get two really fascinating perspectives. There's also interviews with the RZA and Andy and David Shute. And it's kind of like this. David Shute is Andy's Sifu. Andy is my Sifu. That's how it goes. But Gordon Liu is absolutely brilliant in this film. Then you also have Jet Li in Fist of Legend, which is one of the great Jet Li films of all time. Fist of Legend is phenomenal. Yuen Woo-ping, who sort of made the transition here in The Matrix, does the action choreography. This is basically the same story as Fist of Fury, which is the classic Bruce Lee film. And beautifully directed by Gordon Chan. It's Japanese-Chinese rivalry stuff. Honor and all that jazz, but really, the fighting in this is unbelievable. It's maybe the best fighting that Jet Li has ever done in a film. It is just exhilarating, really well directed. Really good commentaries here as well, which I hate to say because it's Barry Logan. And Bay Logan shows up on all these commentaries, but if there's one that I actually have to recommend, it's this one. Bay really knocks this out of the park, so well done, dude. And then, let's see here, The Protector. This is the Tony Jaa film about an elephant.
This is not the Tony Jaa film I really wanted to see.
Why?
Because he needs to not worry about elephants. He needs to, just kick butt.
Yeah,
kick super non-elephant butt.
Well, anyway, look, the plot is irrelevant. It's Tony Jaa just being ferocious. Now, these films are from Thailand, so Tony Jaa, for those of you who don't know, is sort of the next great martial arts superstar who has done a number of really cool films, including Ong Bak 1 and Ong Bak 2. Ong Bak 2 is probably my favorite of his films.
Well, the Ong Bak series is cool.
Oh, it's awesome. Even though 1 has nothing to do with 2. Now, Bay Logan also does a commentary here, not as good, but the behind-the-scenes stuff on Tony Jaa is pretty impressive. You realize this guy is the real freaking deal. And then lastly, Seven Swords, which co-stars a number of legends in Hong Kong cinema. This is directed by Choi Hak, who has sort of given up on his Hollywood career, also has a commentary with Bay Logan, but Choi Hak is in it as well. But yeah, just an unbelievable bunch of stars in here. You've got Donnie Yen, Lau Kar-leung, a whole bunch of others. But Donnie Yen, of course, we talked about last week because he was in Ip Man.
Yes, or Yip Man.
Or Yip Man, which is getting a theatrical release, by the way, this week. You know that?
That's
in
good.
New York. It's already out on DVD and Blu-ray, but there's been such a clamoring by fans, they're releasing it in theaters in New York.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Good sign.
Yeah. So anyway, this is actually a really, really fun kind of mythical movie. Sort of in the wuxia vein, but not as good as things like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or even Hero. But it's a lot of fun. It's Donnie Yen is terrific in it, and I've written articles on Donnie Yen. I interviewed him at my house once.
Is that right?
Yeah.
He drove to your house.
Donnie Yen once sat exactly where you have sat many times doing this exact podcast.
Really?
Yep. Ain't that special?
Kind of is, actually.
Yeah. Blowing through the rest of these. This is some stuff from Tai Seng, who has always been right at the top of the heap when it comes to releasing a lot of these things. This is not a martial arts film. This is a lovely drama romance with a bit of a mystical twist to it. It's a fairly kind of cryptic story, but definitely worth checking out. The recreation of the 1940s, especially in Singapore, is just absolutely beautiful. And it's a bit of a kind of the politics of Asian families at the time, and the mystery of the third master of the family. You just don't get any better than that. It's really cool. And then we have Real Kung Fu. This stars Yun Bu, or Yun Bao, depending on how you want to pronounce it, who was one of Jackie Chan's three brothers, or the Three Brothers team. That was, Sammo and Jackie and Yun Bu. They made a number of films together, including Dragons Forever. Absolutely terrific actor, great fighter. This is a television series that is pretty darn good. Has much better action than a lot of Hong Kong movies these days, and I would say it's well worth checking out. It's a period television series, and it stars Yun Hua, who's another one from those same days. Yun Hua usually played bad guys, including in the movie Dragons Forever, but he's not bad. Xiu Kei, Li Tse Wan. It's a pretty good cast and really good martial arts, especially considering for as a television production. Another interesting television production is The Four, which I had never seen before. High production value here, also a kind of a period thing. This is more of a straight up Western, kind of set during the Qing dynasty period, and it's all about kind of Wild West type machinations and lawlessness and law enforcers and this thing, the Sheriff Bureau, which might as well be Dodge City. It's pretty cool. It takes a while to get into the politics of it and sort of figure out who's who and who's what and who's rebelling against whom, but actually pretty engaging. And then just tying all this up, we've got an absolutely horrible film called Raging Phoenix that stars Jija Yanin. This is a Thai film from the people who did the Ong Bak films, The Protector, and the wonderful movie Chocolate, which I just think is the world. This has got some pretty decent fighting in it, but it's otherwise really kind of stupid. It's just it's kind of almost like a Thai exploitation film with decent fighting, but this is what happens when we start getting all the bad Thai action movies over here. And then The Legend of Bruce Lee, which was produced by his daughter, Shannon Lee. This is one of those hokey movies about Bruce Lee that stars someone who's clearly not Bruce Lee and not nearly as good as Bruce Lee. The only one of these I've ever liked was Dragon the Bruce Lee Story, and this just doesn't really work for me. But it's okay. It's diverting enough. It's just way, way, way too long. It's like 3 hours long and kind of indulgent. But Mark Dacascos and Gary Daniels are in it, which is enough for me to be interested in it occasionally. I like Mark Dacascos, and I really, really like Gary Daniels. I'm going to say I like Gary Daniels because he was recently in The Expendables. But he's not on the poster of The Expendables, but he's in it. He's a cool British martial artist.
Well, who is his agent? Get on the ball.
I don't know. What you looking at there, Mark?
Nothing. I'm looking at... Should I be looking at something?
No, I don't know. I thought you were looking at a Facebook discussion group because we haven't done that in a while.
We have not done the Facebook discussion board discussion of the week, and I feel remiss about that.
Oh, well.
However, I don't feel remiss about disliking Stomp the Yard Homecoming.
Oh, come on.
Now, here's what happened.
It's on Blu-ray, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's what happens. They come out with a movie, Stomp the Yard, theatrical.
Mm-hmm.
Does all right.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a thing. So now it comes time to do a sequel. Cheap cast. Stomp the Yard.
Sure.
Cheap cast. Cheap production. It's a recognizable name with a certain audience. So let's do a sequel. Let's crap out a sequel called Stomp the Yard Homecoming. And yet here it is. And this is just as marginal as the original. Special features include not much, just some stuff on the choreography, which some of that choreography, by the way, is terrific. I mean, it's a lot of fun. The thing is that there's a movie around it.
Uh-oh.
And there's also no reason for this to be on Blu-ray, by the way, although it is a Blu-ray DVD combo pack, which is really not... there's something about these Blu-ray combo packs I don't like, because it's not like they price it down for the DVD. They price it up for the Blu-ray. So if you want this movie on DVD, you've got to pay the premium because there happens to be a Blu-ray in it.
It's not good.
Not into it. So that's Stomp the Art Homecoming. Next we have from the Tyler Perry factory of movies that I'm not a big fan of, although I understand their appeal, is Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married 2? This, of course, is the sequel to Why Did I Get Married 3? I just want to see if you're paying attention. Now, Tyler Perry, of course, is his own little mini cottage industry. He operates out of Atlanta, and he does a lot of movies that resonate with African-American audiences, and I think that's great.
He's expected to become a billionaire in the next few years, within the next 10 years.
Yeah, you know what?
That's unbelievable. For a guy that was once living in his car doing one-man theater just kind of from town to town.
You know what?
That's incredible.
I'm not a fan of his movies, but you know what? God love him.
Yeah.
You know what? He created some. He found a niche. It's not only finding the niche; it's knowing how to exploit it. When he first started, he took a lot of his films to churches around the South, and got people very rabid about what it is he does, and that's great.
That's it.
And so he was able to make kind of an industry out of himself, and all his films I find to be pretty middle of the road. There's a couple decent laughs. I don't like the Medea stuff. I understand why that audience likes it. I think it's kind of silly. But Why Did I Get Married 2 is with Janet Jackson and Jill Scott and, of course, Tyler Perry. Special features include a couple featurettes, and a Janet Jackson music video. So that's Why Did I Get Married 2. Finally, we have a little piece of crap called Triple Dog. Triple Dog is a good example of one of those sort of straight-to-DVD-ish things, and it's with a cast you've never heard of, including Brittany Robertson, Scout Taylor Compton, and Alexia Fast. I cannot recommend this thing at all. It takes place in this small town where these high school girls play this game of Dare, and of course, because they play a game of Dare, it goes out of control. And this thing. Normally, this is a straight-to-DVD thing. Nowadays, of course, it's straight to Blu-ray. But, there's so many straight-to-Blu-ray films now that star recognizable, sometimes Oscar-winning actors.
Yeah.
So why would you go rent this thing?
I don't know.
Unless you're just like kind of, bad teen girls kind of movies.
Okay, we got some horror on Blu-ray now. And that should tell you that Halloween is just weeks away. Just weeks away from Halloween. So they're releasing a lot of horror on Blu-ray. And here's what we got. We have the absolutely horrible, dreadful, unrated film High Tension on Blu-ray, which shouldn't be on DVD or on Blu-ray. Not a fan of this. There are a lot of directors in Europe who are now trying to break into the horror genre in the U.S. and they're bringing European film all the way down. This has the not only the U.S. dubbed version on it, but it has the original French language cut on it. Which is slightly different. But anyway, the director Alexander Aja has become kind of one of the new hot guys here, and I'm not down with it. I don't want my French directors doing stuff like this. That being said, I'm a little bit torn because I really like Cécile de France, who's one of the actresses in it. I just don't want to see her in this kind of stuff. Anyway, it's about a couple of women who go off to this little secluded farmhouse for the weekend, and guess what happens? Uh-oh.
Nothing. They have a great time, and then they go home.
Psycho shows up. And in a similar vein, there's the movie Hatchet. Now, if you haven't heard of Hatchet, well, Hatchet 2 is opening in theaters momentarily, and they're now releasing a Hatchet on Blu-ray. Hatchet is kind of, it's not a spoof, but it certainly is a throwback. It means to be a complete reference to all of those, to Friday the 13th and Halloween and all that stuff, which is why you get a lot of people showing up in this who are clearly meant to be a wink at the audience. Kane Hodder, who played Jason, is in the film. Robert Englund is in it. Tony Todd, who played the Candyman, is in it. And basically it's about a guy with a hatchet, and he's like a swamp freak, and, he comes out of the swamp and kills people. Not really worth checking out. Speaking of Robert Englund, 2001 Maniacs is on Blu-ray. Robert Englund, one of those guys who was a pretty good actor, and then he got the Freddy Krueger part, and then that just now he becomes like now he's a guy who shows up at conventions and just signs his photo and shows up in movies that are just extreme horror films all the time.
I produced him on a show once. I produced him on a show once, a talk show I was working on, and I expected not to like him, but he was a cool guy.
Oh, he's a great guy. I just wish he'd become a real actor again. Anyway, this is the exact same plot that we just told you about in both of these other movies. Got a bunch of kids, right? And they're on their way just to somewhere fun for spring break, and they drive through little town in the south. Uh-oh. Wrong turn.
Ruh-roh. Is that what they say?
Yeah, wrong turn. They're having a barbecue. Southern style.
In other words, they're barbecuing
kids.
Yeah.
Open Water and Open Water 2 on a Blu-ray double feature. Now, here's the thing. Any horror film that takes place in the water is going to be compared to Jaws. And it's not going to be a favorable comparison. So why even bother? That being said, obviously enough people liked the original Open Water to feel that it merited a sequel. So here they are, both of them, made in 2004 and 2006. There has not been an Open Water 3, you'll notice. So it kind of ran its course. But if the Open Water films float your boat, so to speak, they're now on Blu-ray. The Blair Witch Project, the one and only, the original, which has lost a lot of its luster in recent years. I think this thing flamed out once people realized, at least the dumb people who didn't realize it originally, that it weren't real. It weren't real, folks. But here it is, the original. 11 years it's been since this thing was released. Isn't that amazing? 11 years.
I mean, people forget that the movie was made for whatever, $10,000.
Oh, this was a phenomenon.
It was a phenomenon, and it took me a while to see it because I just don't like those sorts of movies.
Yeah. Well,
and by the way, all those guys went on to do nothing.
I know. Blair Witch 2 bombed, and now they've done. Their careers are nowhere.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. Just one-hit wonders, but. Anyway, this has stuff that's been released before, the commentary with the director and producer, alternate endings, nothing much. But on Blu-ray, it's kind of interesting, considering that it wasn't actually shot high def. They use regular definition cameras to shoot it. So it doesn't gain a lot in Blu-ray, but it's a little bit crisper. I don't know if I would necessarily recommend it as an upgrade, but it's okay. Before she became super famous with Juno and heaps of Oscar nominations, Ellen Page really she really kind of caught everybody's eye in Hard Candy, co-starring Patrick Wilson and Sandra Oh. Hard Candy is a movie that has really gained its reputation primarily after its theatrical run. And she's really, really good in it. This is not the kind of thing that Ellen Page has done since, but she should probably try to do more stuff along these lines. She basically plays this teenage girl who goes to hook up with this photographer that she met on the internet, and suddenly, whoa, he's, things aren't quite as they seemed. It's far better than any of these other movies. In fact, what's the thing right now? That quasi documentary,
Star Wars,
Cat's Paw. What the hell?
Oh, it's Catfish.
Catfish, that thing. Yeah, forget about this. There's a lot of creepy stuff about meeting people on the internet. This is the one. This is the one because it doesn't sort of overemphasize all the internet stuff. It's really all about the acting. Patrick Wilson can be a real creep if he wants to, and Ellen Page is terrific. Great commentary with the director and the writer, as well as Wilson and Page on one of the better actor commentaries I've ever heard, and it looks superb on Blu-ray. And then there's a movie on Blu-ray and DVD called Frozen, which I'm not quite sure why this didn't get a theatrical release. It seems to me that Anchor Bay should have been able to at least squeeze a few bucks out of this thing. It's basically it's like been called Jaws in the snow, and that's exactly what it is. This is the same guy.
It's about a snow shark?
This is written and directed by Adam Green, who did Hatchet, which I ripped on earlier, which is just a silly film. But here he shows himself a much more mature director. This is actually quite competently put together, and keep doing movies like this and not like Hatchet, and you'll be on your way. Anyway, audio commentary with Adam Green, as well as some of his actors, and another commentary that he does with his cinematographer and editor, and then some behind-the-scenes stuff. And I would recommend this on Blu-ray as opposed to the DVD, only because the snow blows out on DVD, but it doesn't blow out on Blu-ray.
Interesting.
Got anything else? We had some real movies there, right?
I got some stuff to show you there, Waitsky. We have Wonderland from 2003. I'm not a big fan of this movie. This is the story of these homicides that happened in Los Angeles in 1981, and they both involved John Holmes, the porn star. And this has a good cast: Val Kilmer, Kate Bosworth, Lisa Kudrow, Josh Lucas. Actually, you know what? Not a great cast. No, it's a good cast. It's okay. The problem with this movie, to me, is that it is very sort of dry and procedural. And the thing is that you don't really care about anybody. Everybody is essentially a big scumbag. And some of this also is a bit muddled. So I'm not a big fan of Wonderland, although it is pretty inventively, colorfully shot, so it looks good on Blu-ray. Also on Blu-ray and digital copy, we have Just Right with Queen Latifah, Common, and Paula Patton. This movie was not bad. This is the story of Queen Latifah.
It's such a fairy tale, though.
It's a fairy tale.
And could I say one thing real quick about Wonderland?
Wonderland,
the actual murder. And Wonderland is a real uneven film, but the actual murder moment when John Holmes gets it, where they just bludgeon him to death. That's a pretty harrowing moment. It's really well put together.
It is.
It's a very well put together part of the movie.
It is. That's probably my favorite scene in the film. Might be the only film I like in the movie. The only scene I like in the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, Queen Latifah in Just Right plays a physical therapist, and of course her dream is to even meet the NBA star played by Common. It turns out they have a relationship. And you know what? It's true. It's a fairy tale, but I thought that Common, although he's not really ready for prime time, he really tries his best, and I thought he was kind of charming in that, I'm really trying hard kind of a way.
But I'll tell you, people who watch this, if you know anything about the NBA, if you know anything about basketball, it's just none of it rings true. Technically it's completely wrong, but that's all right. It's a Queen Latifah movie, and her fans don't really care.
A couple more on Blu-ray. We have Secretary with James Spader and Maggie Gyllenhaal. This is a twisted little film from Steven Shainberg, who I don't know that he's done anything since. It's a twisted film.
He has actually. I'll look it up.
Well, you do that while I talk about it. What do you think of that?
Okay.
Anyway, in the film, Maggie Gyllenhaal plays a woman who gets hired for a secretary position at this law firm, and James Spader is his boss. And they sort of embark on this strange relationship that really does cross those sexual harassment lines. But it's very sexy, and Maggie Gyllenhaal is all in, and that's part of the fun. And the DVD, the Blu-ray, contains a behind-the-scenes featurette. All the stuff is ported from the regular DVD.
By the way, you know what else he did? The next film afterwards from 2006. This is why we didn't remember it. We blocked it. Fur, an imaginary portrait of Deanne Arbus.
Oh, people hated that movie.
Oh, my gosh, it's the worst
Hated
film.
it.
Oh, I hated it.
And he hasn't made a film since.
No.
It's over.
Oh, that was so awful. It was so unwatchable.
All right, two more. We have, going to a film, going to music, we have Rush. Now, this is two quote-unquote albums on Blu-ray. This is Rush 2012 and Moving Pictures. I'm a big fan of Rush. I love Rush. I've seen them live in concert. They are incredibly dry, and they're very dry and clinical in concert. However, they are amazing musicians. And 2012 was from 1976, their breakthrough album, including the title track, 2012, which took up the entire first side of the record.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And then Moving Pictures in 1981. That's the one that had...
I love Neil Peart.
You know what? Those guys are very, very talented.
Not Neil Peart.
Geddy Lee?
No, the other Neil.
The drummer?
Yeah, what's his name?
Steve?
Yeah.
Star Wars?
That guy.
Anyway, it's Alex Lifeson.
Yeah.
Neil Peart was the drummer, and then it was Geddy Lee, the ugliest man in rock, and Alex Lifeson. Moving Pictures was the one with Tom Sawyer and Limelight. I love that album. So this is great. There's remembrances from the guys. There's live concert stuff on Blu-ray. I love Rush, 2012 Moving Pictures. Finally on Blu-ray, we have Bad Lieutenant. Now, this is the original 1992 Bad Lieutenant that was NC-17, and I must say this film is basically... Exactly. I love that. This film is basically evil. It is. There's some very. All right, wait, stop. I get it. It was directed by Abel Ferrara, and this is a very, very twisted film that earned every single moment of its NC-17.
I saw this at Cannes. People were so totally turned off.
This movie is out of its mind.
And it was the year after we'd all seen The Piano at Cannes, and the talk was, why does Harvey Keitel keep showing us his penis?
He's having a moment.
I guess it is.
And you know what?
Too many of them.
He's proud of it. So anyway, a bad lieutenant. Harvey Keitel plays a bad lieutenant. And this is pretty much a port of the special edition DVD. On Blu-ray, the picture is a little better, not much better. So I have to say, unless you're saving space on your shelf or you're a big fan of the movie, I don't know if you want to really upgrade to the Blu-ray, but the extras are basically the same.
Then we've got The Karate Kid, the new one on Blu-ray.
I hated this film for about the first hour. Then I
same here. I sort of warmed up to it. Not as good as the original, but Jackie Chan is awfully hard to resist. And Jaden, you know what? The kid's got some talent. He's not Ralph Macchio, and I think the age thing skews too young, but it is not unpleasant. Is it worth having on Blu-ray? I don't know. There's an exclusive on the Blu-ray, which is this alternate ending, but it doesn't necessarily
where he loses.
Yeah, and a few behind-the-scenes things, and this interactive map of China, and some stuff that's not really that significant. I think you'll enjoy this movie perfectly fine on DVD. If you rent it on Blu-ray, it's fine, but it's not necessarily something you necessarily want to buy. And 3 classics. I think you want to buy all of these. Beauty and the Beast, Diamond Edition, DVD and the Blu-ray. We're going to be talking on our gift guide show about a book about the making of Beauty and the Beast when that rolls around in November, written by our good friend Charles Solomon. And Mark's giving me forlorn looks. One of my favorite films of all time. I just love Beauty and the Beast.
You're just saying that so you don't have to give me the Blu-ray.
Oh, absolutely. I would suffer such wrath if I didn't bring this home. I would. You realize that this is like this may be one of 5 films that Christy would expect absolutely to have on call at all times, and you know what, we're all still waiting for Miramax to get that library situation sorted out. You know, all the great Miramax films that we all want on Blu-ray, and they're all caught in limbo with that stupid Disney deal with Ron Tudor and David Bergstein, and they just can't get their money together. It's horrible. It's gonna be like 2 years before we see any Miramax movie on Blu-ray.
That whole thing has to shake out.
That's just absolutely, and by then, who knows if we'll be on to like Purple
3D
Ray,
3D Green Ray,
Purple Ray. Anyway, 3 discs here. The original film on regular DVD, a Blu-ray that is just unbelievably fabulous, more fabulous than words can possibly describe, and then bonus stuff, which are in Blu-ray form on disc 3, which is just a lot of it is kind of stupid, like the Enchanted Musical Challenge game. But really, the Untold Stories portion of this, Beyond Beauty, is pretty fabulous. You will love it. And lastly here, well, actually, I got a few other Blu-rays. Hold on, Mark. Hold on. We've got a couple of Bogart films, Maltese Falcon and Treasure of Sierra Madre, first time on Blu-ray for either of them. And, 2 terrific films with a lot of great special features that, of course, have been out previously. So the special features are not new. The commentary by Eric Lax on Treasure of Sierra Madre is pretty great, as are all of the backstory stuff on here. Our good friend Leonard Maltin introduces some 1948 short subjects, and there's a great documentary about John Huston. Really an all-time classic. Badges, we don't need no stinking badges. And then the Maltese Falcon, a movie that still makes no sense to me, but I enjoy watching it immensely. Eric Lax also does a commentary here, which is not quite as good as the commentary on Sierra Madre, but it's also pretty great. And then more fun stuff from the time, newsreels, classic cartoons, Hiawatha's Rabbit Hunt, and Meet John Doughboy. A lot of really good stuff here. So a couple of old school, old-fashioned, wonderful Humphrey Bogart times at the movies. It's like
Maltese Falcon?
You
don't give me nothing.
And then we've got Mark. You can have all these to your heart's content. 3 History Channel Blu-rays. Can you tell it's really Blu-ray bonanza now for just everybody? These are 3 History Channel things. There's Patton 360, Battle 360, and Nostradamus 2012. This is the complete series of Battle 360 and season 1 of Patton 360. Now, I know what you're thinking. What is this 360 stuff? It's just computer graphic hell is what it is. The Patton 360 thing is just revisiting World War II with all kinds of computer-generated revisitation to try and recreate things and put you right in the middle of it, 360 degrees all around you, so you're planted right smack dab in the middle of World War II. Battle 360 is more World War II madness, but it's all in the Pacific. It's in the it's at sea, battle at sea, and you're experiencing it in this weird CGI environment. Yeah, it's really gimmicky. It's kind of fun for about 10 minutes, and then it gets old very quickly. Even on Blu-ray, it gets old quickly. Nostradamus 2012. Oh my gosh, here we go again. And how many times has Nostradamus predicted the end of the world? Like 7, 8, 12, 50.
It's pretty much the same with like Christianity.
Yeah.
Like how many generations have people been warned in church that that Christ is coming?
Yeah.
He never comes.
But Nostradamus, I mean, everybody interprets these things differently. Well, here we go. December 21st, 2012 is when the world is going to end, or so says this Blu-ray. So I guess we won't be doing a show that week.
Good night, everybody. No shows for us.
All right.
All right. So we have. Are we done?
Let's do TV.
Oh, TV.
Or what do we? Oh no, those are classics. Do that classic stuff. Those are some great sets.
Here's the thing. Douglas Sirk.
Love Douglas Sirk.
Is a terrific filmmaker. However,
not all Sirk. There's a lot of crap Sirk, but there's some good Sirk.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that pretty much the Sirk that you're not interested in
is on this box set.
Is on this box set.
But it's interesting stuff. The movie, it's not like you're going to go, oh wow, the Douglas Sirk's best films, but they are like, wow, really, Douglas Sirk made those?
Well, the thing is that all these films have great casts. It's just that they're not his best films. We're not talking about Imitation of Life or All That Heaven Allows or whatever. We're talking about Thunder on the Hill from 1951, Taza, Son of Cochise from 1954. Captain Lightfoot, which is kind of cool, from 1955. Tarnished Angels, which actually is also kind of cool. But generally speaking, these are not his best films. So, Universal DVD packaged all these up into a thing called Douglas Sirk Filmmaker Collection, part of the TMC Vault Collection. You know what? I really would pass on these, and I would try to get yourself Imitation of Life and All That Heaven Allows, and some of his more famous ones, and Written on the Wind.
Groovy.
Also, we have from TMC Greatest Gangster Films. Now, what happens is with these, although I do love TMC, what happens is, and with a lot of box sets, they take one film, they throw it in there, and they package it with 3 movies that kind of suck, and they put it all together and hope you don't realize that City of Conquest, not very good. So we have City of Conquest, Each Dawn I Die, these are all with Cagney, G-Men, and of course the big one, White Heat.
Yeah.
White Heat is the one where Cagney says, "I'm on top of the world, Ma."
Yeah.
That's
there was a great
Y50
episode that recreated that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Anyway, White Heat, City for Conquest, Each Dawn I Die, G-Men. This is all part of the Greatest Gangster Films collection from Turner Classic Movies. Only one really terrific film, White Heat. The rest are okay.
And let's do some TV. Then I'll talk about the Human Centipede and wrap us out with anime.
Oh, no, I think you should wrap us out with the Human Centipede because you know what? You want quality.
Okay, I'll hold on to that one for the end.
Oh, yeah. All right, wait, let's do a little TV. We got ourselves some comedy. Yeah. Now, when I think of comedy, I think of Eddie Murphy and a little less Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Now, SNL, of course, has
These have been released
series.
Before.
Yes. But this one, because they want you to buy it again, they have, for the Eddie Murphy one and for the Sandler one, they have over 20 minutes of added extras. This includes photos, outtakes, and additional sketches. Of course, the Eddie Murphy one has all the classics.
All I want is Velvet Jones.
Buckwheat, and a couple Buckwheat ones, including Buckwheat is Shot.
I just want Velvet Jones.
Which one?
I just want my Velvet Jones.
Velvet Jones is on here.
There we go.
And he does Stevie Wonder and Jesse Jackson and Richard Simmons. Eddie Murphy was so great.
He was the
show.
best.
He was. Adam Sandler was kind of funny too, although like the opera song, the Opera Man is kind of lame. I don't know. Do I like this? I don't think I like this. I'm over it. It's so it's juvenile.
It's juvenile,
but it's not. I'm just
not as clever.
No, it's
although
not.
The Lunch Lady song is pretty darn funny.
I guess. Well, the Lunch Lady song had Chris Farley.
And Canteen Boy. Canteen Boy is priceless. But Canteen Boy is priceless not because of Sandler, but because of Alec Baldwin.
Now, Party Down is a Star's original show that just got canceled, actually.
By the way, not to detour too much, but can you believe Lone Star? They spent so much money promoting that thing.
Oh, my God.
Second show, done.
Yep.
Canceled. 2 shows.
Out.
Wow.
And
that's TV today.
It got great reviews.
I know.
Which is bizarre. Anyway, Party Down Season 2, this has been canceled, but this season's on DVD. Adam Scott, who you've probably seen in a couple films, he's in this thing. And wait, look at this credit bed.
Oh my gosh! Holy crap!
First of all, it is about how many lines? How many lines tall?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My gosh!
It is 7 lines. It is 7 lines tall and so small you can't read any of it. All I know is that it was created by Paul Rudd. So Paul Rudd, who we all know from Dinner for Schmucks.
They list every director of every episode, which most of them were Fred Savage. Wow, way to go, Fred Savage.
God love Fred Savage for getting some
right.
more. Good for him.
Good.
All right, so also we have on DVD, we have Caprica.
Oh, we just can't leave this thing alone, can we? The whole Battlestar Galactica thing?
I know, but the thing, look, of all the reboots, I would rather watch Battlestar Galactica than Hawaii Five-0. Wade, you're seriously going to?
True.
Are you really going to make an argument for Hawaii Five-0?
No, I'm not. Not the new one. No, it's useless.
Anyway, Caprica is the prequel show to Battlestar Galactica, and it's with Eric Stoltz and Isai Morales. And you know what? I think these shows are very good. I really do. I think they're terrific.
Well, good.
Well, good for you for thinking they're good. Because the thing is that you'd rather watch Falcon Crest, the complete second season.
I sure would.
For reasons I just have no idea.
I sure would.
6 discs, 22 episodes, season 2 of Falcon Crest. Jane Wyman, Robert Foxworth, or whatever his name is.
Jane Wyman used to be married to Ronald Reagan.
That is true.
You know why she divorced him?
Because
she didn't think he was going anywhere. I think that's hysterical.
You know what? It's too funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's Falcon Crest, so there's there's a death.
It's basically Dynasty or Dallas set around a family winery in Northern California.
Terrible.
It's cool. It was it was part of that whole moment when everything was about wealthy people and their horrible misguided lives. No, I really enjoyed this show, and it originally debuted after Dallas, and I remember it very well when the premiere started. It's like, oh, that's interesting. No, I totally got hooked on this show. It was thoroughly enjoyable, and never really caught on quite to the same degree, but this was a good show.
Heading to the BBC, heading over the pond, we have the BBC show Land Girls.
Not as good as the movie.
Not as good as the movie. This,
which
of course,
featured a score by a friend of ours.
That's right, and a great score too.
Great score by Brian Locke.
I swear he should have won an Oscar by now, and I haven't talked to him in years.
I haven't either.
And he just last I heard he teaches.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't get any work, and he's such a brilliant, trained in Poland. The guy was so good. He did the score for the movie Land Girls, and this is, of course, about a group of women during the Second World War who were stateside, but they were part of the Women's Land Army. And so they would work alongside captured POWs, and the BBC did a series about them, and it's a good series with Sophie Ward.
Yeah, it is a good series.
I like it.
I just like the movie better. Because it had Anna Friel. Oh, gosh, Anna Friel. Wonderful. Love Anna Friel. By the way, Anna Friel is in the Woody Allen film.
That is right.
Yep. You'll Meet a Tall, Dark Stranger, and she's terrific in it.
That is true.
She's just great.
Which you liked a lot, and I liked.
Yep. And on Blu-ray, we have in the anime field new Blu-ray installments for The Slayers in Slayers Evolution R and The Slayers Revolution. Now, if you don't know what the Slayers are all about, there's absolutely no conceivable way that I can actually explain it to you. This is one of the more popular anime series, and it looks really, really, really good on Blu-ray. I got to say that. The animation is first rate, really some of the best anime being done these days. I think the better stuff is Slayers Evolution R as opposed to Slayers Revolution, but it's all really good stuff. It's a little hard to get into, but it's well worth the effort once you've done it. And then we also have, for anybody who's a fan of Dragon Ball Z, we've got Dragon Ball Z Kai. Oh, these things all have these weird names. Dragon Ball Z Kai Part 2, episodes 14 through 26 on Blu-ray, which is not my favorite. It's the whole Dragon Ball thing doesn't really work for me, but for a lot of people, they just love it. And that's on Blu-ray and on DVD, but preferable on Blu-ray. And then this is just a killer for anybody who loves the whole Dragon Ball thing. Dragon Box Z Volume 4. This is a beautifully packaged box that includes episodes 127 through 168. If you already have the first 3 boxes, I'm sorry, you got to get this one. There's no holding up unless you want to wait for them on Blu-ray. And then lastly, Mark, I think we should spend a little time talking about the Human Centipede. Because it's 100% medically accurate.
I think we should spend very little time talking about Human Centipede, other than to say it exists.
Well, this is properly labeled the Human Centipede first sequence, because now we have a sequel in the works, don't we? The Human Centipede second sequence?
We do.
Well, the Human Centipede, of course, is a movie about a mad scientist who kidnaps a bunch of... he's a mad scientist in Germany, which is, and he kidnaps some tourists, and he's going to take them, and he's going to stitch them together into a human centipede so that it is one continuous digestive system between the 3 people. This is just a vile, disgusting movie. And, Mark, did you actually watch this?
No.
Neither did I.
Here's the thing. And I said this on Stupid for Movies, which, by the way, Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific time. If the director... Tom Six, whatever his name is.
It's a brother and sister team. Yeah. That makes it even more disgusting.
Yes, it's very Jack and Meg White.
Yeah.
If the filmmakers had some interesting theme to explore, something where they go, you know what, I have an interesting theme to explore, but the only way I can explore it is in this very difficult fashion.
Yeah, but they don't.
Then I still wouldn't watch it, but at least maybe I'd go, okay.
I watched some of the extras, the interviews and the behind-the-scenes stuff, the casting tapes, and there's nothing there to convince me that there's anything even remotely redeeming about this horrible, horrible idea. But it's there on DVD if you care. And with that, we're gone. We'll see you at the movies.